Good morning. I am going to do a reading vlog today. I just got James by Percival Everett, and I kind of want to just see how much of it I can last through in a day. So we're going to get cozy. We're going to start a cup of coffee. I really need to just get myself cleaned up for the day. So let's get to it. Really trying to get more comfortable talking in front of the camera. I'm not naturally a person that enjoys being in front of the camera too much, but it's hard to make content without at some point putting yourself in front of the camera. At some point you just get sick and tired of not doing the thing that you put pen to paper, so to speak, and you just start doing it. So that's what this YouTube channel has been. I was on TikTok this morning and I was hearing the current discourse on the Luke Bateman drama. And I hate to use the word drama because this whole situation has raised a serious dialogue on the disparity between white male writers and literally everyone else in the publishing space, particularly women of color. BookTok is kind of up in arms because this guy from Australia joins BookTok not even a month ago. And because he is a white man that is moderately attractive, Atria Books decided to give him a 2-book publishing deal, despite the fact that he does not have a manuscript at all. So obviously that's kind of a slap in the face to writers who have been trying to get book deals. And this white guy swans onto TikTok, starts a BookTok channel, and what do you know? A month later, he has a 2-book deal that was probably pretty lucrative because I think Atria is under the Simon & Schuster publishing. I know the publishing industry in general has really been kind of slow to amplify writers who maybe do not have as marketable a background, because when I think about what this guy brings to the table that other writers don't, it's just because he is easy to market. Clearly the publisher saw this guy and was like, oh, he already has an audience that's easy to market to. Let's get him a book deal. It's crazy to me how much a person's brand almost says more for them than their actual work. So this guy doesn't have a book written. Is he even a writer? Obviously he's going to take the book deal because this guy is easy to market, because he already has some kind of moderate audience. The publishing industry is like, bam, gold mine. Is Simon & Schuster even interested in getting a good book out of this, or are they just trying to market to a subgenre of readers? I have not been on BookTok very long. In fact, in the 4 years that I've had TikTok, I have actively tried to stay away from that side of TikTok because I know how toxic the reading community unfortunately can be. And yet at the same time, TikTok has proved me wrong time and again. And I have found people on this app who are genuine and just really just love reading. Inevitably, that comes with the territory. Truly, BookTok is such a supportive, enthusiastic community. It's a very easy community for you to join in terms of social media niches. But then, inevitably something like this happens, and I don't know, just the ugliness of this community does poke its head through, and it's something that we need to look at. We do need to look at the ugly. We do need to look where there is disparity. We need to be aware of where our own reading habits are lacking equity or lacking diversity. There are people with important stories waiting to be told that the publishing industry at large is just not in touch with. He's unfortunately a symptom of a much larger problem in society. But if you're interested in going down that rabbit hole, you definitely can. If you're a member of the BookTok community, you have probably been seeing a lot of those videos going through your feed already. My cat decided that she wanted to be in this shot. Oh, okay. Excuse me. So thinking about the June TBR, obviously James by Percival Everett is something I've wanted to read for a few months, so I'm shooting that right to the top of my list. But let's go make some coffee. I need to just put on some different clothes, do my hair, and we can get comfy and start reading. I had to sit down and do a little bit of work, and it is 9:30, and I need to eat some breakfast. So my current hyperfixation breakfast, I take one apple and I chop it into like bite-sized chunks, and then I put it in a normal size saucepan with a little bit of coconut oil, and then I gently saute the apples in a little bit of cinnamon. It softens the apple really nicely. And then I put that in a bowl with a little bit of almond butter. Sometimes I'll throw oats in there. I'm not going to do that today. I also throw like walnuts, pumpkin seeds, anything to just give it more fiber. And it is just, it's warming, it's delicious, it's super easy. I'm honestly extremely excited to start this book. Not only did it win the National Book Award, it was also the Pulitzer Prize winner. I read Huck Finn high school, so I went to SparkNotes to remind myself of the deeper intricacies of the story. So I think my brain is pretty much ready to give this a go. I'm 12 pages in. There's already just so much. The internal voice of Jim slash James sounds different than the external voice that he uses to speak and interact with white folks. And I love that Jim already is set apart from these like white characters such as Huck and Tom, and then of course Mrs. Watson, as far more intelligent than they are, and that Jim's safety is predicated on maintaining this illusion of a lack of intelligence. So his safety is dependent on him appearing unintelligent. Oh, I love this so much. I love the way that Percival Everett is playing with the code switching that is so integral to the survival and safety of the black characters in this book. And obviously he's making a point about how code switching still is a part of black existence today. But in particular with this book, James goes home to his family and they literally are having a discussion about how to use the correct incorrect grammar when interacting with white folks. And it's funny. This is very heavy, but he infuses little moments of tenderness and very deep connection with Jim and his wife and daughter, Sadie and Elizabeth. This is good. So, at the beginning of chapter 2, Percival Everett reminds us of language as a big theme in this book. And he tells us straight out safe movement through the world depended on mastery of language, fluency. I'm excited to see how this continues to play out through the book and how Huckleberry Finn is going to be affected by that
either mastery of language as well as they eventually obviously are both going to be on the run together. But you can tell that Jim has obviously a soft spot for Huck because, yes, Huck is white. He's able to move freely around the world much more than Jim is, but Jim still recognizes that Huckleberry is a victim of his own unique circumstances in that he is the son of a very violent drunk. So Jim, being the empathetic individual that he is, does feel not responsible for Huck, but he does want to protect him, sort of, in a way. I like Jim. I love that we're getting his side of the story. Like with Huckleberry Finn, we don't really see like his internal thought, but the book being told obviously from Jim's perspective is a much more deeper take on what's happening in this historical context. I had to get a notebook and a cat. Anyways, I needed her with me and I had to get a notebook because I'm not yet sure how I feel about annotating my books and just take some notes on like themes and other bits. Huck is such a boy. He's such a boy. They're having this deep conversation about whether or not God is real and whether or not prayers work. And, Huck is asking really great questions about that. And it says, Huck picked up a rock, studied it in his hand for a bit, and then hurled it at a squirrel high on an elm branch. Those little details are what makes a great writer a great writer. It is lunchtime. I had to sit down and do a little bit more work, but now I am going to make some roasted chickpeas, a little bit of quinoa, and just kind of put together roasted chickpea bowl with veggies and seasonings. So let's get to it. I like a lot of spices on my food, so of course we're going with the classic salt, pepper. This is garam masala. It's an Indian spice. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of cumin. And then of course the classic garlic powder. A little extra virgin olive oil over all of this. And then this is gonna go in the oven at 425 for about 20 minutes or until it's your desired crispiness. Now we're going to make a little bit of quinoa to go with this. So I'm going to put some dishes away while the food cooks. I'm still thinking about the first few chapters of James and just how already this book is so eye-opening and so important. I've already sent the text to friends, like, you guys need to read this book immediately. I only have a couple friends, actually I only have one friend that has read this book. That's unacceptable. So we're gonna get the folks on that train. We're gonna do hummus and feta, tomatoes, cucumbers, and then I have a little chunk of a red onion. I am oily. Ooh. All
right, let's get these chopped. And this is the bowl complete. Super good.
Am I the only one who likes a like milky cup of black tea in the afternoon? Tell me if that's you. My favorite thing to drink in the afternoon is a nice cup of Yorkshire Gold, specifically. One of these for 5 minutes, steeped with a little bit of milk and honey, is just the perfect afternoon pick-me-up drink. Again, Huck is just so adorable. I don't like white folks, he said, and I is one. This conversation that Jim is having with Voltaire in his fevered delirium is very interesting. And essentially, Voltaire is acknowledging, yeah, all men are equal, but you have to admit the presence of, shall we say, the devil in your African humans. And then Jim's like, so we're equal but inferior. And then Voltaire's like, I'm detecting a disapproving tone. It's interesting that there are concessions that even abolitionists are making in terms of the differences between races. This is very interesting, and it's making me want to do a whole deep dive. I love the illusion of the snake as the bringer of the knowledge of good and evil, and how the snake is the vehicle, I guess, or the symbol that leads Jim through this moral conundrum with himself and society that he is not a part of, but amongst and judged by, frankly, and how Jim has to fight with these two sides of himself. You could say the good side and the evil side, as society calls it.
I just had an incredible gift dropped off on my board. It's so big. And this gorgeous, like, peony mixture. I have a friend who works as a floral artist in Milwaukee, and she sometimes has extra blooms and blossoms, and so she drops them off at my house, and I am so incredibly lucky. So I'm gonna make a little arrangement with these bits and bobs, and I will show you what I end up making. I've got this antique decanter. I think I'm gonna fill it with flowers because this really needs like a narrow neck.
am really enjoying James so far. I also read today that Steven Spielberg is producing a movie, and it's going to be directed by Taika Waititi, so that's kind of fun. I think that is it for me today. I am going to finish my tea, maybe read a couple more pages, and then it is lights out for me. But thanks so much for spending your day with me today, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.